What's going on, guys? It's Jamil here, and today, starting today and every other Monday, I will be making a How Good Is video series. This episode is going to be the first one, known as Enemy Controller. How good is Enemy Controller, if you may ask? Well, quick play spells have been in and out of the meta from time to time, but some reason this meta seems to be very, very prevalent when it comes to field spells. The last time we have seen this many quick play spells, not field spells, quick play spells being played was back in Necros format because Genlock and because other cards such as just the Necros deck itself, using Shared Ride and also Mistaken Arrest and Forbidden Chalice to turn off potential Genlocks, and it was just a mess. But let's go back to the last Tier 0 format, which was Dragon Rulers. Dragon Rulers, although their main strategy cards were Dracossack and Big Eye, they were incredibly powerful, but quick play spells weren't being used that much. And this is because, although their effects are powerful, they're not disruptive. They don't do much. They don't do really anything on your turn. They're just beaters on your turn. And so, quick play spells didn't really see that much play because you didn't really need to. All you could get away with setting a trap card and not have to worry about anything happening on the end phase, like, say, Masterpiece, blowing it up. So, when was the last time Enemy Controller itself saw play? Well, the last time Enemy Controller saw play was back in 2011, early 2012 with Frognarks, because you could special summon Treeborn Frog out of the graveyard, take your opponent's monster with Enemy Controller, and special it back out because you knew you were going to do something with that monster. And Enemy Controller fell out at the time because with the popularity rise of Exceeds, multiple different archetypes had monsters with all kinds of different levels, and it was more or less just a hit or miss whether or not you were going to get matched up against a deck that played monsters at the same level, and therefore it was an inconsistent card to actually play. Now, why is it so relevant today? Well, half of the boss monsters have quick effects now that disrupt your opponent. That's first and foremost. Secondly, these quick effects are disruptive, very, very disruptive, and are kind of needed to kind of counterbalance going first and going second. Although I do dislike quick play spells because they're essentially traps on your turn and your opponent's turn that can be played from the hand, you kind of need them to combat these cards, like Dryden and Masterpiece. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how good this card really is. And let's say you are going against a pure Zodiac deck, and they put up a Trident and set a few cards. They have Mrs. Radiant and whatnot, and you are ready to go. And let's say that you want to, let's say you're playing ABC Dragon Buster, because that deck also received a pretty nice buff with the link formats because their effects actually float when you link with them, versus exceeding. So, let's say before I want to activate Union Hanger, let's say I have Cock-a-doodle-doo in hand, and let's say I have, a gadget and a Union Hanger. Well, most of the time I want to play my Union Hanger straight out, but I know it's going to get hit by Trident. So what do? I can just special summon the Cock-a-doodle-doo from the hand, since it is going to start seeing play, that or Gofu, because it is at 3 here. And I can either outright activate Enemy Controller and attempt to take the Trident. 9 times out of 10, they will just use the Trident to destroy itself, so you don't take it. But that accomplishes something on your end. You no longer have to deal with the Dryden. You're free to play Union Hanger and get your free search and get your monster. Therefore, you are now put back in the game. You're not as suppressed as you once were. And that is one of the best applications for Dryden, just outright get rid of it. Now, I am going to throw Mind Control in the same scenario, or same situation, because that is also a card that you can use in Link format, because, like both of these cards, even though Mind Control, it's not a quick play, and you can't attack or tribute with it, you can still use it for a Link summon. So, I've played 3 copies of Enemy Controller and Mind Control in most of my decks for the upcoming weeks, and it has seen very good success against these meta decks. Now, let's talk about Masterpiece. Masterpiece is a little bit trickier. Now, why do I say this? Is because you would think most of the time Masterpiece would be unaffected by spells, but most of the time it's really not the case. More than half the time, when you see a Masterpiece, it's generally dropped on your turn, on your you, the player's turn, while you're trying to make plays and make certain actions to try to outplay the True Draco player. Now, what would they end up doing? The most common play you would see is a Dynamite Knuckle use this effect and activate Apocalypse straight from the deck. Now, at that point, majority of the time when they sense a problematic play or a problematic monster about to rise to the forefront to even potentially oppose Masterpiece, they would then use that card. Even if there are multiple other set cards, they will generally tribute a trap card to summon Masterpiece so they can let the trap card blow up the monster instead of Masterpiece using its effect. And in doing so makes Masterpiece vulnerable to spell cards, which generally True Draco players aren't even worried about, because we're seeing a lot less board wipes now, because one, my Body as a Shield is running around, and so we teeter our decks against Zoodiac, and since board wipes aren't necessarily good against Zoodiac, we started taking them out of our decks, which in turn makes True Draco players or decks a little bit stronger, so they're not really too worried. But most of the time, when you are making plays and they just decide to Masterpiece you out of nowhere, you can take that time to activate the Enemy Controller from your hand, tribute the monster that Masterpiece targeted, take the monster, and then use it for your own purposes. You can either attack with it, and you can link someone with it main phase 2, or you can link someone with it and get floaty effects with things like Gookies, because now Gookies is the new archetype that came in Code of the Duelist. Or you can play it in a spam deck like Stargrails or World Chalice. Although World Chalices don't necessarily float like Zoodiacs, they can put a lot of monsters on board, and since the majority of the extra deck are Link monsters, I can guarantee that you can use whatever monster you've taken for your own purpose for a specific Link monster. Since the deck is almost pure Link, there are many different Link monsters that with many different materials required, that I guarantee you one of the monsters you took meet the condition of. So, with that being said, with the weeks I've played this Enemy Controller, I found Enemy Controller to be absolutely amazing, and it can also turn off certain things like Monarch's Erupt and or Domain by taking their tribute summon monster that they no longer will control, and then you can go into your extra deck. So there's also little nifty things there that you can do as well. So there you go, guys. Enemy Controller is a lot better now with links, because it fell out of favor because Frognerks were being used, but that was the last deck it was actually being main decked in, because you were guaranteed to get value out of the monster you were taking because it was going to be used for something. But now with links, we can now have guaranteed value once again. So, with that being said, guys, thank you very much for listening, watching. Let me know what you guys feel about Enemy Controller in general. Let me know what you guys think about me making more, you know, how good is type videos. The next one I'm probably going to do is Forbidden Chalice, another quick play spell that I might need to touch on. Now, granted, my replay videos may get more views, but my discussion videos generally get more feedback. So, I am actually legitimately asking for feedback as to how you feel about this card being played in the upcoming future of the meta. So, with that being said, guys, thank you very much, and you guys have a good day.